Welcome back to the channel, everyone. In today's video, I want to go over my paycheck allocations. I had some comments in my last video asking me to do a paycheck breakdown, so that's what we're going to do. Now, for this video, I will be using rough estimates of what one total paycheck is for me. If you guys watch my channel, you would know that I started a new job around a month ago, and based on their pay structure, I technically haven't gotten one full paycheck yet. Plus, I'm still waiting on my 401k and my benefits to be taken out. But the actual percentages and structure I will go over is the one-for-one structure that I have followed for probably the past year, and I really believe it has helped me get a lot closer to financial freedom. Now, none of this is financial advice, and I am not a professional financial advisor. This is just personally what I like and what has worked for me over time. So let me know in the comments down below what you think, how you treat your paycheck. Like and subscribe, and let's get into it. Now, we're going to use $2,500 as my base paycheck. This was basically the last paycheck I got, and while my pay from here on out should be a little bit higher, we're going to use $2,500 kind of as like a nice average number to base our percentages off of. Essentially, this $2,500, this, quote unquote total, is what you would take home before any extra allocations. So now having that knowledge, let's get into the first allocation that I make when it comes to my paycheck. First and foremost, every single paycheck, I allocate 20% to my 401k. Now, this is my long-term retirement bucket that, in my opinion, if you are trying to build some type of wealth, every single person watching this video, if it applies to you, you definitely should have a 401k set up. Now, there's two types of 401ks, but most people are using a traditional 401k, so let me explain that one first. With a traditional 401k, basically, the money goes in before taxes. Then what happens is that money grows over time, and you don't pay taxes on it until you pull that money out later in life once you retire. So the benefit's pretty simple. You basically get a tax break now, your money compounds without being taxed every single year. But on top of that, if your company offers a match, that's literally free money to be added on top of what you're already putting in. That alone makes the 401k probably like the best place to start when it comes to financial freedom. Now, if you're using a Roth 401k, it's essentially flipped. You're putting money in after taxes, but when you take it out later, it's also tax-free. So either way, the purpose of a 401k is the same, whether it's a Roth or a traditional. It's a long-term system that forces you to pretty much be consistent when it comes to contributing towards your retirement. It gives you tax advantages, and it helps you build a large amount of money over time without needing to really think about it. So obviously, your 401k is not for any type of quick win, but in my opinion, it's one of the best ways to build wealth over 20 to 30 years. Especially, this is kind of like my little hack, I guess, is whenever I start a 401k with a new company, I like to go in and set my own allocations. Because basically, the last two companies I worked at, when I started my 401k, they had me in a like 2065 retirement fund, which in my opinion, for me, is just too safe and too slow growing. So if you're a little bit more advanced, what I like to do is I like to go in and set my own allocations. So first things first, 20% to my 401k is about $500 into my 401k every single time I get paid. So once the 20% for my 401k comes out, the next thing I like to focus on is my Roth IRA and or my taxable brokerage account. Now, if you're getting into investing and you got your 401k set up and you kind of want to know where to go next, I would always recommend starting with a Roth IRA. Now, my Roth IRA is maxed out, so that is why now I focus on my taxable brokerage. But in my opinion, focus on a Roth IRA first. Now, the reason I focus on a Roth IRA is because this is still long-term investing, right? Long-term, boring investing. That's kind of the investor I am. I just like it that way. And it's just like a 401k, but the advantages are on the tax side of things. With a Roth IRA, you're essentially putting money in after taxes. So there's not going to be any major tax break today, but the benefit comes later in life. When that money grows and you take it out, you don't pay taxes on that money. So if you invest consistently over a long period of time and it grows significantly, all of those gains are yours. No capital gains tax, no extra hit at the end. Now, obviously, this is very powerful. However, it is tied up a little bit because with a Roth IRA, you can't just pull it out at the age of 35 and expect everything to be, all dandy. If you try to pull the money out before retirement age, you're also going to get hit with taxes and you're going to get hit with penalties. So this is just like a 401k where you have to let that money sit and grow pretty much until you reach retirement age. Now, what's nice about a Roth IRA is you can actually pull out your contributions whenever needed. So for example, if you have $10,000 in your Roth IRA and that's money you put in, like you put in that $10,000 and for some reason an emergency comes up and you need to pull out five, you can take that money no problem. It's just you can't pull out any gains until retirement age without being taxed or penalized. Now, what's cool about a Roth IRA is it's also a little bit more flexible compared to your 401k. So you can choose kind of exactly what you want to invest in, and it's not tied up to your job. So the purpose of a Roth IRA, long-term growth, tax-free withdrawals later on in life. Now, like I said, my Roth IRA is maxed out this year. In 2026, I was able to put $7,500 in there. I did that. So now that it's maxed out, I still obviously want to keep investing. So I focus on my brokerage account. Now, a brokerage account in general is going to be more flexible than a Roth IRA. There's no real tax advantages with it, but you're investing with after-tax money and you pay taxes on the gains that you see. The benefit is just access. There's no age restrictions, there's no penalties, no limits on when you can use the money. So you can literally pull the money, you can pull all your gains out, in a week if you wanted to. It's just you're still gonna have to pay taxes on it, but it's just that money's a lot easier to access. So in my opinion, I use both as long-term kind of financial freedom drivers. Even though a lot of people use their brokerage account as more of like a flexible investing account, I still look at it as just like a second Roth IRA. So pretty much my Roth IRA and my brokerage account, they look exactly the same. I contribute the exact same amount of money to each of them. And for me, it's just long-term growth, right? That's the name of the game when it comes to my type of investment style. Now you're asking yourself, how much do you invest? So every single paycheck, I invest 10% of my paycheck towards either my Roth IRA or towards my brokerage account. Next up is my crypto allocation. So me personally, I choose to invest 6% of my paycheck into Bitcoin. What that 6% breaks down to is $10 a day. So on a daily basis, I buy $10 of Bitcoin. Now, here's my explanation for this. I know I'm probably going to get some hate. Some people are probably going to agree with me. At the end of the day, it's my finances, so I can do what I want. Here's the thing. When it comes to my investments in Bitcoin, me personally, I just believe in Bitcoin. I do think that Bitcoin, out of all the cryptocurrencies, will continue to grow and will continue to be a good place to store long-term value. Now, notice I say long-term value. When I invest in Bitcoin, I am investing in Bitcoin for the next 20 to 30 years, not the next 3 to 5 years. So as long as Bitcoin is higher than it was today, in 20 to 30 years, I will be happy. Now here's the thing with crypto. I'm fully aware that it could go to zero tomorrow, and I'm fully aware I could lose all my money that I invest into it. I'm fully okay with that because for me, it's $10 a day. Let's be honest, that $10 a day is going to get spent somewhere else. It's probably going to get spent on goldfish and animal crackers if I don't put it into Bitcoin. So I choose to put $10 a day into Bitcoin, and realistically, some people look at it as high risk. I don't. I know people who make way riskier plays with their money and then they call me out for investing in Bitcoin. So to each their own. Me, I believe in Bitcoin. I choose to invest $10 a day into it and or 6% of my paycheck. So if you guys are keeping up with the percentages at home, so far to recap, 20% of my paycheck goes straight to my 401k. 10% of my paycheck goes into an investment account, whether it's my Roth or my brokerage account, and 6% goes into Bitcoin. If you add all that up, that means every single time I get paid, 36% of my paycheck is already gone off the top. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is my savings allocation. And this is the last automatic allocation that I have set up. Now, when I talk about my savings account, it's going to sound like I don't save a lot of money, but hear me out, especially if you're new to this channel. Every single paycheck, I only send about $50 to my savings account. Now, for most people, I would not recommend this. I would recommend focusing on savings until you have 3 to 6 months built up in an emergency fund. That way, worst case scenario, when life happens, you have money to fall back on. But if you guys have watched my channel before and you keep up with my net worth videos, you would know that I used to be an absolute savings. I'm not going to use the word, but all I would do is save money. I would not invest money. I would just save money. And over time, I've grown a very big stockpile of money that over time I have gotten better at deploying into the stock market. So the reason I'm saying all of this is the only reason I save $50 a paycheck is because I already have around $20,000 in savings right now, which is plenty of monthly expenses for me. I could quit my job right now and realistically be fine for probably a year and a half based off my current expenses. So that is why I only save $50 every paycheck. I think the percentage is like 1 to 2%. But for the average person out there, if you don't have an emergency fund, I would definitely focus on that while you're trying to invest, or honestly before investing, in my opinion. So that is basically it. That's exactly what I do with my paycheck. Every single time I get paid, 20% goes to my 401k, 10% goes to an investment account, 6% goes to cryptocurrency, and about 2% goes to my savings account. So once again, we add all that up. Pretty much every time I get paid, 38% of my paycheck is gone off the top. Now, you might ask yourself, well, what do you do with the other 62% of your paycheck? And there's a few different things I'll do. Now, first thing, I'll kind of show you guys my monthly expenses, and these are my reoccurring monthly expenses. So on the screen right now, you can basically see that I pay for a few different subscriptions, a few different things, but pretty much this is all my monthly expenses consist of. I have ChatGPT, the Plus plan or whatever, because it helps me with work. I have Spotify Premium because I like listening to music without ads. I have YouTube Premium because I'm always on YouTube and I would not prefer ads on my video. My rent is around $1,400 a month in Phoenix, Arizona. And then I also pay around $350 for a car payment on a monthly basis. Now, pretty much what I do with the leftover money is I get very hyper aggressive when it comes to paying off my debt. So right now, I have no credit card debt. I have no financing services debt. If you guys watch my net worth video, I'm sorry I keep saying that, but it's just easy to reference. Pretty much my biggest debt right now is my auto loan. Now, I have been hyper-focused on paying off my auto loan probably for the past couple of months. I think in December, I owed around $21,000 to my auto loan, and currently in April right now, I owe around $11,000. So in the past about 4 months, I've paid around $10,000 to my auto loan, and that's pretty much what I do with my extra money. You know, I'm lucky enough to have a girlfriend where she pays for groceries and stuff like that, like little miscellaneous expenses. So pretty much for me, with my leftover money, once rent's paid, once, my car payment's paid, I can pretty much do whatever I want with it. And I don't have a lot of expensive hobbies. I like playing video games. I like making videos. And other than that, I don't go out drinking. I don't have a lot of bad habits. I don't have a lot of expensive habits. So I get pretty hyper aggressive. And what I've been focusing on right now is paying off my car. So I would say maybe another 30 to 40% of my paycheck goes towards my car right now. And then the leftover, 20% of my paycheck, that's what I use as money to, just buy things I want or kind of just leave in my checkings account until my next paycheck comes up. So that is pretty much it for this video. Just from watching this video, you guys know exactly where my money goes every single time I get paid. This is literally one for one the plan that I have followed for the past year. I do not plan to change this anytime soon, and this has worked for me. So if you guys enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate a subscription and a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys do with your paycheck and where you allocate money, because I would love to know. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.